This is topic 10-1, making connections, multiple representations of functions. Our objective today is I can describe functional relationships in a variety of ways. So our essential question will be, how can I describe functional relations in a variety of ways? By the end of this lesson, you should be able to answer that question. We're going to talk about a gift card representation. Charmaine receives a gift card for $20 worth of media downloads. The cost of each download is $2.50. We're going to complete the table and complete each representation for this scenario. So our table shows us, after no downloads, what is the remaining balance of the gift card? If I look at what's given, it says the gift card starts off at $20. So if I don't download anything, we have a beginning balance of $20. This $20 is our beginning amount. The cost of each download is $2.50. So if I download one song, I'm going to subtract $2.50, and my remaining balance will give me $17.50. If I continue with this, I download two songs, I will subtract another $2.50, and we'll get $15. So what we'll see is our remaining balance is changing by $2.50 by subtracting each time. So after 3 downloads, we have $12.50. After 4 downloads, we have $10 left. 5 downloads, we have $7.50. 8 downloads, we have $5 left. I'm sorry, 6 downloads, we have $5 left. 7 downloads, we have $2.50 remaining. And after 8 downloads, we have no money left. So now we're going to determine what depends on what. The question is, the remaining balance on the gift card depends on what? So in the past, we've talked about how y depends on x, or our dependent depends on our independent. If we just look at our y depends on x, we see that the remaining balance on the gift card, this is our y. So depends on, we should be putting x here. X represents the number of downloads. Using our table, we can now graph our situation. So from our table, we see that our y-axis, this is our y-axis going up and down, is the remaining balance on the gift card. We see that is also what's listed in our table. And then our x-axis is the number of media downloads, and that is what is also listed in our table. So we're going to use the information for our table in order to plot our points. It's saying when the number of downloads is 0, then our remaining balance on the gift card is 20. So here's our beginning amount, again, or our y-intercept. After 1 download, we're at $17.50. So when download is 1, we're at $17.50 for the remaining balance. Okay, 17 is not labeled. If I put the label there, I know $17.50 is halfway between the 17 and 18. After 2 downloads, we're at 15. After 3 downloads, we're at $12.50. 4 downloads, we're at 10. 5 downloads, we're at $7.50. 6 downloads, we're at 5. 7 downloads, we're at $2.50. And after 8 downloads, we have a remaining balance of 0. So we now have our points that represent the ordered pairs that come from the table. If we were to connect these dots and read this graph, we would see that our graph is decreasing. I can also tell that by looking at the table and looking at my y values and seeing they are decreasing. So yes, my graph should be decreasing. Our domain are all the x values. So using the table, I see that my x values are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Our range are the y values that we used in order to plot those points. Those y values, we started off at 20, then 1750, 15, 1250, 10, 750, 5, 250, and 0. Using this information, we can determine what's our independent quantity and our dependent quantity. Our independent quantity is our x's, our dependent quantity are our y's. So independent quantity, those were our inputs. This is the number of downloads. I can see that on my table, my input or my x is the number of downloads. Dependent quantity is what we come out with. This is the remaining balance on the gift card. Next, we want to write a function to represent the relationship between B, the remaining balance on the gift card, and D, the number of downloads. When we wrote functions before, we used our output is equal to what we begin with. We're either going to add or subtract to that, how it changes, times the input. Now our output is represented by y and our input is represented by x if I'm given a table. So let's look. Our output or our y, that's the remaining balance of the gift card. If I look, it says let B represent the remaining balance of the gift card. So I'll put B equals. I need to know my beginning amount. My beginning amount is when I had no downloads going on. I started off with $20 on that gift card. And now it changes. If we recall how we filled in our table, it changed by $2.50, but I took it away or subtracted $2.50. And then our input is our x's, which represents the number of downloads, and so the number of downloads is going to be represented by the letter D. So our function is B equals 20 minus 250D. What value represents the rate of change? The rate of change is also our slope. And when I look at the equation above, the rate of change is how does it change? In our equation above, it changed by subtracting 250. So our rate of change is negative $2.50 or negative 2.5. What's the value represents the y-intercept? Value that represents the y-intercept. And the y-intercept, we use the letter B, and we also talked about how that is our beginning. Either using the information given or using your table, you can see our beginning was at $20. And so the value of the y-intercept is 20. What is the meaning of the y-intercept? The meaning of the y-intercept is where we began, or it's the balance of the gift card before any downloads were made. So it's the balance of $20 before any downloads. Or that means there are 0 downloads and I start off with 20. So I can write that y-intercept as a point also. When will you have no more money left on your card? I can use my table to determine when will I have no more money left on my card. The remaining amount, this is a y value, so I'm looking for when is y equal to 0. Y is equal to 0 after 8 downloads. So after 8 downloads, I will have no more money left on that card. Next it asks, when is half of the gift card spent? Well, half of the gift card is going to be $10. If I started off with 20, half of it's going to be $10. But the question asked is when is half of it spent? So when do I spend $10? I spend $10 after 4 downloads. Or I should say at 4 downloads. Next, we want to create a map. Our map we can determine based upon the number of the table that it's given. So in our first oval, we have the X our X values. In the second oval, we have our Y values, or the remaining balance. So our X values, we start off at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then our Y values, when we have 0 downloads, we have a total of $20 remaining on the card. So I will draw a line from 0 to 20. After 1 download, we have $17.50 remaining on the card. After 2 downloads, we have $15 remaining on the card. After 3 downloads, we have $12.50 remaining on the card. 4 downloads, we have $10 remaining on the card. After 5 downloads, there's $7.50 remaining on the card. After 6 downloads, there's $5 remaining on the card. 7 downloads, we have $2.50 remaining on the card. And after 8 downloads, we have 0. We have now created our map that is also being represented by the table. Make sure you include the lines going from your X to your Y. Now we want to write a new function if the value of the gift card is changed to $30. So we're talking about the beginning value of the gift card is now $30. So our beginning amount changes to 30. That means our new equation, we still have B equals, but instead of 20, we'll have 30, and then minus the 250 times D. Our next question asks, how would this change the graph? Well, it's changing our beginning amount, or it's changing our y-intercept. So our y-intercept increases to 30. That now means our y-intercept can be written as 0, 30. That's our starting point. Our next question is write a new function if the value of the gift card remained at 20, so our beginning amount is still 20, but now the cost of each download is $3. Our cost of $3, that's our change. So our change amount is equal to now a minus $3 because we're taking away $3. So we have B equals, our beginning is still the $20, and now each download is $3, so we're taking away $3 times the number of downloads. How would this change the graph? Well, this change amount represents or changes the rate of change, or our slope. So that means our rate of change, or our slope, decreases to a negative $3. Instead of, it was originally a negative $2.50, now it's a negative $3. That is a decrease. So to answer our question in our summary, our question was, how can I describe functional relationships? So I can describe functional relationships and we described them 4 different ways. We started off with a table. From that table, we made a graph. We also had an equation. And we also did a mapping. This concludes topic 10-1.